The explosion that shut down a state. The 1998 Esso Longford disaster, September 25, 1998. An explosion rips through a critical gas plant in Victoria, Australia. A high-pressure vessel shatters, unleashing an inferno that burns for 2 days. The entire state is thrown into chaos. Over 1 million homes and businesses are left without gas, some for nearly 3 weeks. 2 men were killed, 8 others were seriously injured. The total economic loss would top 1.3 billion Australian dollars. This was a disaster that should never have happened, an engineering nightmare that brought a modern state to its knees. And it all started with a single pump failure that triggered a catastrophic chain of events. The Esso Longford gas plant was the heart of Victoria's energy supply, processing gas from offshore platforms. For decades, it had an uninterrupted record, but behind the scenes, years of cost-cutting had created deep-seated problems. Plant engineers had been relocated from Longford to a city office, disconnecting them from daily operations. The company's safety focus had shifted to preventing minor accidents, like slips and falls, which created a massive blind spot for much larger explosion risks. The stage was set, a plant with its engineering brain miles away, a safety culture focused on the wrong risks, and a skeleton crew of operators who, despite their experience, had never been trained for the danger they were about to face. The beginning of the end started when a pump tripped, stopping the flow of hot oil that was essential for heating parts of the plant. Without that hot oil, a heat exchanger began to get dangerously cold as frigid gas continued to flow in. Its temperature plummeted to -48°C. At these extreme temperatures, steel loses its flexibility and can become brittle like glass, a phenomenon known as brittle fracture. The operators, working without on-site engineers or clear procedures, struggled for hours. Unaware they were now in charge of a giant, pressurized bomb, they made a fateful decision. They reintroduced searingly hot oil heated to over 230°C back into the super-chilled vessel. The moment that hot oil hit the frozen steel, the thermal shock was immense. At 12:26 p.m., the vessel didn't just leak, it ruptured violently. The climax and the aftermath. The rupture released 10 tons of flammable hydrocarbons. A massive, invisible cloud drifted towards a heater, and the plant erupted in a devastating fireball. 2 workers, Peter Wilson and John Lowry, were killed instantly. The fire raged for 2 days, and with its main gas plant destroyed, Esso shut down the entire gas supply to the state of Victoria. In the aftermath, a royal commission investigated the disaster. Esso initially tried to blame the plant operators, but the commission firmly rejected this, placing the blame squarely on Esso's management. The final report was a damning indictment. It cited a complete failure by the company to give its workers the knowledge and training they needed to handle foreseeable hazards. It pointed to the decision to move engineers off-site and an inadequate safety system that ignored major process hazards. The Longford disaster became a landmark case in industrial safety around the world. It hammered home a powerful lesson. A low rate of minor injuries doesn't mean a facility is safe from a major catastrophe. The Commission's findings led to sweeping regulatory changes, most notably the safety case regime, which forces companies to proactively identify and control major accident risks. The explosion that shut down a state wasn't just an engineering failure, it was a failure of corporate responsibility. It stands as a memorial to Peter Wilson and John Lowry, and a permanent lesson on the catastrophic cost of ignoring risk. Thank you for watching. The story of the Esso Longford disaster is a powerful example of how small oversights can lead to devastating consequences. If you found this analysis insightful, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the world's most significant engineering failures. Let us know in the comments what disaster you think we should cover next.